All right, welcome back to the show. This is the Mad County Build Series, and today on this video we're going to talk about the gas system that I am putting in this house and why I'm doing that. So first off, I'm on an LP system. So I have an LP tank out here. It's a 500-gallon tank. I'll probably eventually add another tank in the near future. But typically an LP system is a 2-regulator system. So the tank can vary in pressure depending on the temperature outside and basically where you're located in the country. So that can vary. But on the tank itself, the first stage regulator is usually a 10 psi regulator. So it takes that pressure in the tank and it regulates it down to 10 psi. And then the line goes to the house, and right before the gas line enters the house, there's a second stage regulator which regulates it down to 11 inches of water column, usually between 10 and 11. But you take a house like mine, which is going to have it's going to have 2 tankless water heaters, which are typically a lot higher. I think the average tankless water heater is usually rated around 175,000 BTUs at its max, where a conventional water heater is around 40,000 BTUs. So I'm going to have 2 of those. I have 2 96,000 BTU stoves. We have 2 gas-fired furnaces. So when you add all of this together and do your calculations, the line sizing for this house would be hard to get to with all of those appliances. One thing, most likely, I would probably never have a problem just doing regular piping, running 3/4 inch into the house, and then sizing the line appropriately for the appliance. However, if all of those appliances were running at the same time, there is a chance that you would not have enough gas supply, and that's the last thing you want. So I have chosen a 2 psi system, which I feel is an easy solution to my gas needs. Now, with that being said, the chances of all of these appliances running at full bore all at the same time are slim to none. It'll probably never happen. However, you're required to be able to run at your max BTUs of all your appliances added together. So the 2 psi system is what I've chosen to do, and I'll take you through that, and we'll just start at the tank. So all right, so here's where it all starts, guys. This is a 500-gallon propane tank. These are only filled at 80 to 85% capacity, and that's due to the varying temperatures outside. So they'll fill this tank right here, and as you can see, they filled it yesterday, and they filled it to 80%. A little over 80% is what this is filled at. And you can see this is a nice small line because there's enough pressure in here, push enough gas into this first regulator. And then what this first regulator does is it takes the pressure of the tank and it takes it down to 10 psi. See if I can zoom in here so you can see. The first stage regulator here is a Fisher, and you can see it's a 10 psi, so it takes it down to 10 psi, and the max inlet is 250 psi. So this tank should never get over 250 psi, but it'll reduce this down to 10 psi. And inside, this is just a protective sleeve here until it gets down underground. And then there's a 3/4 inch poly line that runs 12 to 18 inches under the ground up to the house. So this is where the gas line enters the house. So on a typical LP system, this is going to be a regulator that takes the 10 psi down to 11 inches water column. However, with all the appliances that I have and my calculations, I decided to do this 2 psi system. So this is a 2 psi regulator. So it's quite a bit more pressure than 11 inches water column. which will give me the volume and the pressure I need to push enough gas to each of my appliances. And this is also a Fisher. This will take the pressure down to 2 psi, and then it goes into the house where I have my main shutoff. So you got a locator wire that runs from here all along that poly line out to the tank. So right now I'll take you through the process of testing and getting my gas through my manifold to each of the 2 appliances. So I've already checked these. I'm going to have to turn this on. This is the main shutoff, so this will charge this up to my manifold. I'm going to double check to make sure these are all closed. So I'm closed, 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 closed. So I'm going to go ahead, but let's go ahead and charge this. It's important when you open these that you do it nice and slow, especially when you're going to open one that's going to hit an inline regulator, so that all the internal parts can adjust properly. Alright, so we are good through all of here. I'm going to eat some lunch and then we'll come back and we'll put I got an inline Maxitrol regulator for my water heater, and we can finish up that install. So this is the last thing I got to do. It's got a vent limiting device on it. So all regulators will have a vent on them, and in order to have these inside, you need to have this vent regulator on here, and which that does is it limits it from venting. But with that being said, it has to be mounted in a horizontal upright position for it to work properly. So it's got to be mounted like this. Now the one for the stove, that's a 1/2 inch, so it's a lot smaller, and you can get these smaller, but these were in stock, and in here it doesn't matter. This will mount right here like this, and then my gas line will hook into the other side. So we'll get that mounted and get this fired up. You guys will be proud of me. I went and got some tape rated for propane. Now if you notice, this is a Maxitrol, and the model number on these is listed right at the bottom. So it's a 325 5L, and it's rated for a 2 psi inlet, and it's adjustable from 7 inches water column to 11 inches water column outlet, and it comes preset. They'll stamp it on here to 11 inches, which is what I need. So it's already preset to that. But you can adjust this if you need to. It's got a vent limiter on it from Maxitrol, and that limits the venting, so you can use these indoors. But one thing you need to pay special attention to is this arrow on the back side. So this will be the inlet, and that'll be the outlet. And I'm going to have to mount it in a horizontal upright position. Right. Alright, so for me, this is a pretty short run, and I have on the manifold I have a shutoff, and then right here there's a shutoff. So I can easily isolate this if I need to. So I got a shutoff here at the appliance, and I got a shutoff at the beginning of the run, which is very short. Most of the runs in the house are pretty short. There is, with the exception of one, I think is right around 50 feet, and that's to the kitchen stove. But other than that, they're all, I think, within 20, 25 feet. So it's not awesome. Yeah. Alright, we're all hooked up here. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to leave this valve closed, but I'm going to open go ahead and open this one. I'll test, make sure none of that's leaking, and then I'll work my way down. I just have one fitting right up there, and then I can check all this, and then we can try this water heater out. So let's go ahead and do it. Now, one thing very important when you have these inline regulators is when you turn the gas on, turn it on really slow. That gives the spring and all that a chance to adjust without getting slammed right off the bat. So we're just going to go ahead and just slowly turn this on. Alright, so in here we're using another Maxitrol inline regulator that accepts 2 psi in, and then it's adjustable from 7 inches of water column to 11 inches of water column, and it's preset, as you can see right here, at 11. They stamp it on there that it's preset at 11, which is exactly what I need for this stove. So all I got to do is basically hook this up right down there and then hook my gas line to the back side of it. You can see I got a vent limiting device on this one as well. This one's a little bit smaller, it's for a 1/2 inch line. Alright, well hopefully this explanation of a 2 psi LP gas system was helpful to somebody. This is not an end-all be-all by any means. You still have to do calculations for the size of line you need to your appliances. However, this pretty much solves your problem of not having enough gas flow in your lines to supply all of your gas-fired appliances at the same time. So this isn't something you need to use for every installation, but if you take a situation like mine, where I have 2 96,000 BTU stoves, I'm going to have 2 tankless water heaters, 2 gas-fired furnaces, and I'm also going to have either another tankless water heater for my in-floor heat or a boiler. With all of those combined, the BTU rating is just way too high for me to guarantee that I'm going to have enough gas flow if all those are going to be running at the same time. However, I want to make sure that all of my appliances can run at their full capacity if need be, and the 2 psi system was the way to go for me. So hopefully this explanation helps somebody out there. You know, I feel like this is something, you know, you could tackle yourself with a little bit of research. However, if you don't feel comfortable, you need to find somebody that is knowledgeable about this or is certified to install these systems. I believe that every man and woman just needs to know their limitations. I feel comfortable doing this myself. I'm actually allowed to do it myself here in some places. I know that you can't even hook up a gas line to your appliances without being certified, which that's neither here nor there. This was just a video to explain what a 2 psi LP gas system is and how it works. So hopefully this was helpful to somebody, and we will catch you on the next video.